Why wait for Assassin's Creed Syndicate? If you want a new AC game to play right now, I've got a secret that's going to blow your mind. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that, like Assassin's Creed, keeps coming back for more every year. Wow, it really has been a once-a-year thing to do an AC episode, huh? Groovy! So, last time I mentioned the AC franchise here, we reached a shocking conclusion. Jump off of buildings, and you will die. Truly compelling research. But this time, I'm putting on my big boy robes, Internet, and going over the lore of this game to see if we can't find something amazing. Forget about science with all its nasty physics, or history with all its nasty, crusades? Rabid colonialism? Look, I don't know exactly what history has, but that's beside the point. Today I'm doing nothing less than proving the existence of a heretofore unknown entry in the Assassin's Creed series. That's right, a full game you didn't know existed, just out of sight. Or really not out of sight at all, actually. Because this lost, unknown Assassin's Creed game isn't rotting away on the cutting room floor or in the minds of some game designers who didn't have the money to make it. Instead, it's hiding in plain sight for sale right now on store shelves, practically taunting you with its secret assassininess. That's a word, right? Assassininess? But what game is it? Loyal theorists, I present you with Assassin's Creed 4.5 Watch Dogs. That's right, all of our favorite watch_dogs. And this isn't some kind of half-butt Easter egg that technically places the games in the same universe. I'm talking full-on canon sharing. The black-hatted hacker and high-collared trenchcoat enthusiast Aiden Pierce, main character of Watch Dogs, is actually a modern-day descendant of the Assassin's Order, and the plot of his game is completely tied with that of the other Assassin's Creed games. How can I be so sure? Easy, because there is plenty of evidence, but requiescat in pace. Let's start at the very beginning so we're all on the same page. Now, if you're into the Assassin's Creed games for the story, I'd like to take this moment to warn you that there are going to be some plot spoilers ahead, so skip or cover your ears or whatever. But honestly, if you're a fan of the series, you probably know most of this stuff anyway. Just doing my due diligence, alright? So before there were any humans anywhere, in the world of Assassin's Creed, there was a race of triple helix DNA-having beings known as the First Civilization. They were extremely advanced in a sort of ancient aliens way, and actually it turns out that the only reason humans exist in the first place was that the First Civilization genetically developed us from primates in order to serve as a workforce, and then exerted their will over them with powerful items known as Pieces of Eden, which activate small naturally occurring neurotransmitters designed to grow inside our brains from birth. Problem was, though, us human types were simply irresistible, and some of those First Civilization members got monkey fever and couldn't stop themselves from, intermingling with the humans, resulting in human First Civilization hybrids that were immune to the Pieces of Eden, and also inherited abilities like Eagle Vision, aka Don't Sue Us Marvel, copyright-friendly spider sense. These people fought for the justice and freedom of humans, eventually winning enough battles that the First Civilization was wiped out after a large planetary catastrophe, leaving the Earth to the humans, and there was much rejoicing. Eventually, those hybrid genes were spread across the gene pool, but those with high concentrations of them were often recruited to continue protecting humanity against threats to their free will. Most notably as either the Knights Templar, who wants to use those same Pieces of Eden to re-enslave the Earth, or as the Order of the Assassins. So that's the backstory you need to know. But for this theory to really hold any sort of weight, the first thing we absolutely have to be 100% sure of is that Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs take place in the same universe. And I assure you the evidence is there. Check out this email from Assassin's Creed 4, which shows Bloom, the company responsible for the CTOS security network central to the plot of Watch Dogs, offering use of the system to Abstergo Entertainment, the Templar-run video game company from Assassin's Creed that uses experiences within the Animus to create interactive games very similar to the Assassin's Creed games. You know, now that I say the plot of Assassin's Creed out loud, it's really weird. and super, super meta. Ubisoft, bros, are you trying to tell us something? You're into world domination and controlling humanity with subliminal messaging? Weird, guys. You have to admit, it's pretty weird. In fact, the connection goes so far that you can see some of the games mentioned in Assassin's Creed 4 on the shelves in people's homes in Watch_Dogs. There's even a great little Easter egg which shows a father roasting his son for playing a game where after killing his target, you go into a digital limbo to have a little chat, aka every Assassin's Creed game ever. There's also plenty of Abstergo employees roaming the streets of Watch Dogs' version of Chicago, which you can see with your cell phone magic. High-tech hacker profiling device. But what makes me so sure this isn't just a bunch of Easter eggs? We're not crossover after all. Oh, I'm sorry, Drake. Still love you. Well, let's start with the soft evidence. Aiden free runs in a way very similar to the way Altair, or Ezio, or Connor, or Edward, or Arno do. Man, we have gone through a lot of assassins. And that focusing power Aiden has, which allows him to slow down the way he processes time, is very similar to the eagle vision we've come to know from the Assassin's Creed series, which also allows the user to better concentrate on his surroundings and process information more easily. Aiden and the assassins also share the same sort of predictive countering techniques, a proclivity for stealth operations, and even a dependence on hacking. Remember Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane? Two assassin hackers from throughout the franchise, showing that yes, the hood and hidden blade wielders have room in their ranks for tech geeks too. The assassins, truly an equal opportunity employer. So what about Aiden himself? If he was an assassin, like I say, wouldn't he bear some similarities, or at least share some goals with the Assassin's Order? For example, why is he called the Fox when all the other assassins use eagle imagery? Doesn't that kinda leave us dead in the water? Well, it would if there wasn't an assassin from Italy known as La Volpe, which translates to the Fox. And besides just being an assassin, La Volpe was the leader of the Florentine and Roman thieves who worked against corruption in the establishment, much like the hackers from Watch Dogs. Looking at all this together, this either suggests that the connection is super possible, or that Ubisoft wanted a quick and dirty gameplay reskin. But there seems to be more here than that. Unsubstantiated comparisons be darned, let's look at the facts. Because nothing makes me happier than supporting these theories with some good old, solid in-game evidence. Except maybe a lifetime supply of Diet Coke. Looking at you, Coca-Cola Company, seriously waiting for that phone call. Now, for this theory to really hit home, we need to prove that not only does Aiden know the assassins exist, but that he also agrees with what they're doing enough to help them out along the way. Enter a man named Olivier Garneau. He's kind of like the bad guy from Quantum of Solace mixed with Steve Jobs. And in Assassin's Creed 4, you meet him as CEO of Abstergo Entertainment on your first day at the company. It's through his emails that you learn the Templars are looking for a place called the Observatory, and you run into him a few times here and there throughout the plot of the game until he leaves the office for a shareholders meeting in Chicago. And that's it. From that point on, he mysteriously disappears and no one ever hears from him again. And you want to know why? Aiden Pierce assassinates him in Watch Dogs. Hop over to Brandon Docks and Watch_Dogs and hack into a phone at the Brood Delight to discover, you guessed it, Olivier Garneau. Aiden sees that he's wanted by none other than the Brotherhood, which we all know is just another name for the assassins. And guess what Aiden does? Does he let him go because he hates the assassins? Escort him out of the city? Use his magic hacking powers to get him a coupon code for free coffee? No, he runs him down and takes him out. Why? Because he's a target, and because Aiden Pierce knows who the Brotherhood is and wants to help. And what's more, consider what a vote of confidence it is that the Brotherhood would even allow him to help. We've seen time and again just how discerning they are with who they trust, and the fact that Aiden's on their shortlist, something it took most of the main AC characters more than half the game to do, speaks volumes to his skill, his lineage, and his assassininess. See, I knew I'd use that word again. Case closed, you just have to follow Abstergo. But you know what, Internet? That's not where this ends. Not by a long shot. Because follow Abstergo I did. And what I found doesn't just reveal a connection between Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. It blows the lid off something so big So crazy that plans must have been in the works for years right under our noses, and only now are we really finding out how deep this rabbit hole goes. If my calculations are correct, Ubisoft has gone full Marvel, where all the games based off their big company-owned IPs that they've released in the past few years take place in one big universe. Where to begin? How about Far Cry 3? In Far Cry 3, the player character Jason has even more similarities linking him to the assassins than Aiden does. For example, Jason can mark and visually track targets through walls, trees, and foliage, just like an assassin. And the training he receives from the Rakyat people seems likely to be some sort of offshoot of the Assassin's Order. But again, all of this means nothing if we don't connect the game's worlds, right? In the Lost Expeditions DLC mission Ignition in the Deep, Jason stumbles upon an abandoned Abstergo facility on the island the game takes place on. Collect all the document fragments and you get a little blurb from someone named Hayato talking about the pieces of Eden and early experiments by Thomas Edison leading to Animus technology. You're also given the access code 122112, numbers that would seem completely random in the context of solely Far Cry 3, but make a whole lot more sense in the context of Assassin's Creed. For 122112 is actually a reference to December 21st, 2012, the long-rumored date of the apocalypse as told by the Mayan calendar, and a huge plot point for the Assassin's Creed franchise. And that's not all. In the game, you can find the mystical Silver Dragon Dagger, which the Rakyat people say will make the perfect warrior out of whomever holds it, and that everyone would kneel before its owner, which, if true, could reflect the mind-controlling properties of a piece of Eden. And speaking of pieces of Eden in Far Cry DLC, in the Valley of the Yetis DLC for Far Cry 4, player character AJ, who once again has magic eagle vision-like powers by the way, must find and destroy a yellow glowing relic that can control your mind and physically transform you into a Yeti. Where have I heard of a glowing relic that can control the human mind and has special properties? Can someone say Piece of Eden? And it doesn't stop with the Far Cry series. These aren't quite as strong, but what about Megiddo, the mysterious behind-the-scenes organization from Splinter Cell? It's an organization that controls a bunch of the world from Moscow to Washington, D.C. Doesn't that remind you of the Templars? If not, then consider this. Like many elements of AC, this group in Splinter Cell is also a biblical reference, one to an ancient biblical city. And not only that, in Greek, the name translates to Armageddon. 122112. The end of the world theme continues. Even in Ghost Recon, Ubisoft isn't afraid to allow Abstergo to make an appearance. From one of the DLC packs, quote, straight from the weapon ranks of the Abstergo Industries private security force. Another connection that starts to blur the line between casual Easter egg and full-on canon sharing. Regardless of how firmly you see those last two, the point is this: assassin or no, Aiden, Jason, AJ, and the rest of Ubisoft's growing cast of characters from their yearly franchises all live together in the same world, and these connections are only growing stronger year by year. All it's gonna take is one giant Avengers-style crossover game to make them hundreds of millions of dollars, because all of us are excited to see it happen. Assassins_dogs, Splinter Recon. Now all they gotta do is fit Raymond in there somewhere, and I'm sold. But before I sign off for this episode, I've got a huge announcement. For the next month, I'm going to be trying live streaming right here on the Game Theorist channel. After a summer of awesome conventions like SGC and VidCon, and with Retropalooza coming up in September, I realized that those are great because it means I get to hang out with a couple hundred of you, but there's still so many of you out there who can't come to these things. I realized that I just want more time to hang out with you, play with you, goof off, have fun, discuss theories, and with us about to cross 5 million subscribers, the timing just felt right to do something that really makes you a more regular part of the channel. Seriously, none of this would be possible without all 5 million of you. And live streaming just felt like the best way to reach the most of you. So next Wednesday, the 26th at 7 o'clock p.m. PST Pacific Time, we'll be having the first one. I'll be trying out all sorts of stuff over the next few weeks, working together to solve FNAF lore and other theorizing, playing awesome, hilarious, and embarrassing gaming challenges, debating recent and past episodes, trolling special guests, all that good stuff. It should be really awesome. And after that, I'm going to be trying to do it every weekday for about an hour or two at around 6. So I hope you're excited about it. I know I am, because seriously, I'm stoked to have a bit more time to talk with you between episodes. Game theory and film theory are great, but because they're so scripted and take so long to make, it's hard for me to actually talk with you guys about things that are happening. So I hope that this helps a little bit more. So anyway, remember, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock PST, 26th. Mark it on your calendar. It's one of those weird digital things that you do have to mark on your calendar. It's gonna be a learning experience for all of us. And hey, if you need to convert that to your time zone, Google's really good at that. So hopefully I'll see you then. And in the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And on the theme of doing new things, let's try something different for the end slate. This is going to be a test. You guys know how much I love this stuff. So, as we all know, annotations don't work for mobile and tablet users, right? But this new feature, Cards, works for everyone. Mobile, tablet, desktop. Oh, I guess not game console and TV. I am so sorry. Anyway, click on this icon right here in the upper right corner to reveal my cards. It's there that you're going to find some pretty cool videos that if you enjoyed this episode, you're probably going to like. Like the episode I mentioned earlier about the physics of the leap of faith in Assassin's Creed. There's actually a lot more to that episode than jump off a building and you'll die. Like how to survive falling out of a plane. So it's definitely worth a watch. Or if you're more into the crossover elements of this episode, check out one of my older theories that unites all of the Nintendo games with Mike Tyson, and basically then goes to connect every single game ever made with the real world. It's a pretty trippy episode. So that's pretty much everything. Live streaming, cards, Ubisoft universe. So now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go strangle an animatronic.